quick live, right? Because it's a beautiful night. I want to sit outside and enjoy it for a little while. So the topic I was thinking about, which is in the title, is: Are her standards too high, or do you offer too little? And the reason I chose this topic is because we often see guys talking about unrealistic standards and she want this and she want that, and guys are always reacting to a woman saying this and a woman saying that and a woman doing this and a woman doing that. And once again, the question is: Are her standards too high, or do you offer too little? Let me get two things out the way, and then I'm going to get into the meat of the conversation. So the first thing is this: the fact of the matter is, everybody is not for everybody. You are not for everybody, right? And so, truth be told, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how charismatic, how funny, what all resources and different things that you have. The fact of the matter is, some women are not going to be interested. Period. You're just not going to be her cup of tea. Whether you're making 6,000, 60,000, or 600,000, you're not going to be her cup of tea. Whether you're 5'5", 5'11", or 6'4", some women are just not going to be interested. Whether you're a high school dropout, a college degree, PhD, some women are just not going to be interested. That's just what it is. Some women are not going to be interested in you, period. No matter what you do, no matter what you have, no matter what you accomplish. And that's not a bad thing. And that doesn't make her a bad person. Just everybody's not going to be into you. As a matter of fact, I dare to say most people are not going to be into you. But that's all right. You don't need most people to be into you. You just need one. And so that's the first part. Some of you is not that you're offering too little. It's just everybody ain't for everybody. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And so you may be smart. You may be accomplished. You may have this, that, and the third. You may have your stuff together. But that particular woman or women that you approach, make sure you hit the like button when you come in. She's just not interested. And that's cool. That's not a big deal. And that's a whole nother conversation. Some of you take rejection far too personally. What's going on? Seriously, some of you take rejection far too personally, right? If she's not interested, she's just not interested. It could be for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it don't even got to be anything to do with you. Sometimes she could not be interested because she just got out of a relationship, so she's not trying to talk to nobody. Sometimes she could just be going through a mental phase or focus on her career or whatever the case may be, and so she's just not interested. Sometimes she could just remind you of somebody from the past and not be interested. Sometimes she can know that, hey, she's working on something and she's going to be moving somewhere else soon, so there's no point in starting something with somebody because she's not going to be living here for much longer. There are plenty of reasons why a woman may not be interested in you that don't have anything to do with you. So don't take it personally, number one. And then number two, you're just not going to be some women's cup of tea. And once again, so what? You don't need to take that personally. So that's the first disclaimer. The second one is this. In this world, particularly in this country, there are social classes and economic classes. Different people come from different backgrounds. And so there are going to be some women that are not interested in you because you are not in her economic class or her educational class or her social class. It is what it is. In this world, we're all trying to find our footing, trying to find our lane, trying to move into what we can move into and be successful in the way that we can be successful. Make sure you hit the like button. So there's going to be some women. She may think you're a nice guy. She may think you're sweet, you're talented, you're smart, you're a good catch. But because of her socioeconomic status, because of her education level, it's just not going to happen. And then guess what? That happens to guys at all levels. If you're a guy with a high school diploma that works a trade and making $40,000 a year, there's some women that you are priced out of. But guess what? If you're a college graduate and you're making $70,000 a year, there's some women that you're priced out of. Believe it or not, if you are a successful brother and you're making $100,000 a year, there are some women that you are priced out of. If you let's just say you went to a small school and got your bachelor's degree, there's going to be some women priced out. Socioeconomic status and education levels are real. We all have different backgrounds and upbringings. And there are some women in this world who grew up in gated communities. Generation after generation after generation of two-parent households. Those women have a particular standard, and rightfully so. So once again, there's no reason to take it personally. Her great-grandparents was married. Her grandparents was married. Her parents are married. The great-grandparents started a business. Passed it down to the grandparents. Passed it down to her parents. All she knows is gated community. She got a sports car for her 17th birthday. Her Sweet 16 party was like $10,000. Her entire life, they've been molding her and building her up to be a certain caliber of woman. And they have always envisioned of marrying her off to a certain caliber of man in terms of not just income, but education level and the social status of his family. And that's something I think a lot of us miss out on. We don't understand. People that come from traditional households for generations, how they mate is completely different. I think a lot of us miss out on that, but that's real. Once again, people who come from generations of two-parent households, generations of successful two-parent households, how they mate is different. Oftentimes in those situations and scenarios, the parents are actively involved in their sons or their daughters' dating history and dating trajectory and who they meet and who they intermingle with and who they get into a serious relationship with. A lot of times it's not necessarily an arranged marriage, but it is a situation where they see who they want that child to be with. And they set up situations so that those two people can be around each other and together. They will do things like, oh, we want our daughter on this trajectory. We want her to be with this caliber of man. So we're going to have a family vacation and we're going to invite him on the family vacation. They do things like that. And so sometimes you are just priced out of that particular woman because of her background. It is what it is. But let's get into the main point, right? Those are two sidebars. Once again, the main topic. Are her standards too high or are you offering too little? Hold on. Allergies. So when I say, are her standards too high or are you offering too little? What I'm speaking on are everyday, regular, for lack of a better term, men and women. Because it's one thing for the woman that's used to dealing with athletes and rappers and entertainers. It's one thing when we talk about IG models. It's one thing when we talking about celebrities. It's one thing when we're talking about the woman that comes from generations of wealth in her family. That's one thing. But the everyday black man and woman, right? That's the issue. The question comes in there, right? How much do you have to offer to a regular, for lack of a better term, run of the mill, everyday woman? That's the question, right? And here, and this is where some of the rhetoric is like, it's ridiculous, because you should be growing and evolving and achieving for your own personal self, not for a woman, right? I would never say self improve or do this or do that for a woman. No, you should self improve and level up for yourself. Like, for example, you should want a nice car with no check engine light, with the Bluetooth so you can answer your phone and answer your phone calls, with the leather seats. And you should want nice, reliable, comfortable transportation for yourself, regardless of whether you want a woman or not. You should want to live in a nice, quiet part of town where you got a Whole Foods over there, or a Trader Joe's, a Harris Teeter, a Starbucks. People walking their dogs, people jogging, there's grass, it's quiet. You can hear the birds chirping. You can cook out and grill. There's community centers and rec centers and pools and gyms and all that kind. You should want to upgrade yourself so that you can live in an environment like that for yourself. I think that kind of gets lost in the sauce a lot of the times. Self improvement is supposed to be for yourself. These are things that you should want for yourself. And as you grow and grind and achieve for yourself, you have more to offer by default to the everyday woman. Because you got to, like, especially in these times where all the tea leaves are saying a recession is coming. Everybody's talking about the cost of living going up, housing prices through the roof, grocery prices gone up, everything's gone up, and a recession is coming. In situations like that, and I heard Patrice O'Neal say this once, women don't want to win. Women want a winner. Women are looking for a winner. A guy that when I get with him, my situation improves. Y'all talk about this hypergamy thing a lot, but hypergamy in many cases is just common sense. When a woman gets with a man, she wants her life to improve. What logical sense does it make for a woman to hitch her wagon to a man and her life not improve? That's a bad decision. That's a bad choice. That's a bad bet. So we don't have to look at gold digger pranks. We don't have to talk about hypergamy. We don't have to talk about the 80-20 rule. All we have to do is have goals, dreams, aspirations, and level up for ourselves. And then when we come across women in our everyday lives, we'll have better outcomes because it'll be clear that her hitching our wagon to us will help her life improve. That's really all it is. It's really that simple. It's that simple. You are supposed to have an intrinsic motivation within yourself to get to a certain level for yourself. And then, see, all this works together. You set goals, dreams, and aspirations for yourself. As you accomplish things for yourself, you gain confidence and self-esteem in yourself. That confidence and self-esteem leads you to a healthy and a vibrant social life. With this healthy and vibrant social life, you're going to meet tons of women naturally. And in that situation, when you meet these women in these social settings, and you have your accomplishments and your self esteem, at a certain point, there's going to be women who identify that hitching her wagon to you is a good look or a come up for her. You see how that all works together? It all works together. It's rather simple, it's rather cut and dry. Let me say that one more time and then I'm going to end this. You have to figure out who you are and what you want in life. Then you have to have the motivation within yourself to accomplish goals that you set. You accomplishing goals that you set for yourself gives you confidence and self esteem. Men with confidence, self esteem, and accomplishments naturally develop healthy social lives. Men with healthy social lives meet women all the time just in passing. They have more at bats naturally. And so with these at bats, you then come across women who notice that dealing with you would be an upgrade to her situation. And boom, just like that, you don't have to worry about gold diggers. You don't have to worry about hypergamy. You don't have to worry about the 80-20 rule. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's really that simple. So once again, I ask you, are her standards too high or are you offering too little?